All right, will everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum? Yes, we do. All right, first item on the agenda is a public hearing number 1. So, excuse me. The public hearing is now open at 6:30.
So this one is creating a ordinance to establish regulations for public and commercial pools in the city of Buhl. I want to say it was in July that the state basically gave that responsibility to the cities. And so this is working with South Central Public Health to make sure that we are continuing to keep a pool or a clean pool and
Protect our citizens.
protect citizens. Yeah.
Thank you, Kelsey. So is there any testimony? No testimony. Okay, all right, then I will skip to the end. I'll close that public hearing because we don't have anybody here to talk in favor of.
Are you Josh?
Yes.
Oh, so he's with South Central.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
My name is Josh
You're behind the
Jensen.
Podium, so.
Yeah, sorry. Josh Jensen with South Central Public Health. I'm the Environmental Health Director. And, as Chelsea was mentioning, last legislative session, the state essentially dropped pool regulations and standards from the state. And so come this last July 1st, those statewide standards that have been in place for decades have gone to the wayside. They sunsetted. As such, been meeting with the different jurisdictions throughout our region to see what we can do to continue making sure that these pools that serve the residents and the citizens of our area and keep them to a certain standard where we can ensure bathers are safe, that the pool has the proper equipment, safety standards, so that we reduce the risk of disease transmission for the folks and the patrons that use the pools. And so essentially, what we've been doing is talking to local cities to see about, what it would look like to have a local option for those pools and any future pools that would come into the city of Buhl, for example, that there would be some sort of a local standard that they would have to meet, and also to continue receiving annual inspections from the health district. That way we can ensure compliance with those standards and ensure the functionality and the safety of the pool. So at the end of the day, it is in the best interest of protecting public health and the residents and the users of those facilities. And so I was invited to come today, so I came to see if there's any questions I might be able to answer.
So does the council have any questions for Mr. Jensen?
This will only be for public and commercial pools.
It depends on how you write the ordinance, but from what I've seen on the draft one, which is copied over basically from the city of Nampa, from what I understand, is that would loop in not only public pools, but also commercial pools. So in the city of Buhl, from my understanding, the only pool that is basically here is the city pool. So if there was any future development that came in, like a hotel, a health spa, RV park that maybe had a swimming pool that would be available to guests, that could potentially fall under this ordinance.
It did have a section in there for private pools as well, but I assume that was,
Those would be exempt.
yes.
Any other questions? No. Yeah, all right.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Okay, this public hearing is closed at 6:35 p.m. Public hearing number 2 is city council will hear testimony for the consideration of the proposed amendment to the budget for the fiscal year from October 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2026. The proposed amendment is to reflect an additional source of revenue and expenditure in the general fund for the police building remodel.
Yes, so we are, in your packet, I think I gave it to you last meeting as well, about the rooftop units over there. As they started their construction, figured out or realized that those were not salvageable. And so the best bet would be to do the 2 brand new RTUs. And so we're asking for an additional $25,778. I would recommend that it come from the general fund balance and into the police, into the general fund to pay for those RTUs.
Is there anybody?
There was some, yeah. Yes. Someone's second.
All right. Then I will close this public hearing at 6:37, and both of these matters will be brought up under new business. All right, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and that includes the minutes of the November 11th council meeting, the claims for payment, the monthly department head reports, the commission minutes, and the clerk treasurer report.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Okay, there being none, Marla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. There is no unfinished business on tonight's agenda. So the first action item under new business is review and consideration of an ordinance establishing regulations for public and commercial swimming pool licensing and inspection in the city of Buhl.
I'll make a motion that, the second ordinance, right? Yeah, so we need do you have the ordinance number? Yeah. 2025-15. They don't need to read that. For an ordinance, we don't have to read, right? That's just a resolution. The full,
This is an ordinance.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
This one?
Right here.
So,
There's two motions involved.
I'll make a motion to suspend do you need the rule? Which rule was it? This one?
City star, all members of the city council look at the ordinance number.
But this is to waive the readings?
Right, 3.
Okay, yeah. All members of the city council having been furnished a copy of the proposed ordinance 2025-15, being fully apprised of the content and purpose of said ordinance. I hereby move that the provisions of Idaho Code Sections 50-902, which require that said ordinance be read on 3 different days, 2 different readings by title only, and 1 reading shall be in full, be dispensed with, and that said ordinance be passed upon 1 reading by title only. Second.
It doesn't say the requested roll call vote.
It doesn't say that, but I'll request a roll call.
And there's a second, okay, is there any discussion? Amanda, how do you vote?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And now I'll make a motion to, for ordinance 2025-15 to establish the regulations for the public and commercial swimming pool license and inspection in the city of Buhl. I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. And I will read by title only. So it's an ordinance establishing regulations for public and commercial swimming pool licensing and inspection in the city of Buhl, providing for definitions, inspection and licensing requirements, enforcement, fees, and penalties, providing for an effective date, providing for severability, and repealing all ordinances, resolutions, orders, and parts thereof in conflict herewith. Is there any discussion? Okay, there being none, Sue, how do you vote?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
And Amanda?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next action item, number 2, is review and consideration of amended appropriations ordinance for fiscal year 2025 through 2026.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we amend the appropriations ordinance for fiscal year 2025-2026. Or is it exactly 25? If, 25,778. For $25,778. Second.
You can do the same thing that's been organized.
Oh, I'm sorry. See the face. All right, all members of the city council having been furnished a copy of the proposed ordinance number 2025-16 and being fully apprised of the content and purpose of said ordinance, I hereby move that the provisions of Idaho Code section 50-902, which require that said ordinance be read on 3 different days, 2 readings by title only, and 1 reading, which shall be in full, be dispensed with, and that said ordinance be passed upon 1 reading by title only. And I request a roll call vote.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
This is just for the readings, correct?
Okay, Marla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Sue? Yes. Okay,
Okay, then I will make a motion to amend, appropriate the appropriations ordinance for fiscal year 2025-2026 for $25,778. Second.
okay, there's a motion and a second, and I will read the title of this ordinance. An ordinance of the city of Buhl amending the annual appropriations ordinance number 2025-12 for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026 to show an additional revenue and expenditure within the general fund, providing that the tax levy upon taxable property within the city is not affected hereby, and providing an effective date. Is there any discussion?
Is Core here tonight?
Yes.
So, it's my understanding that, did we miss this in the inspection, the initial inspection, or?
No, they were not missed. It was an option with the GMP to begin with to replace these units. And in the GMP, it was decided that we would try and maintain these units during the project and you know, do it at some other time to replace them. But when trying to maintain them, they were not maintainable and needed to be replaced. Therefore, they came forward to the city council in this motion.
So, what part of it was covered under cause the amount was supposed to be fixed and it wasn't supposed to go above?
Yeah, so all it was for us to check them out, and keep them running once we left. But there was no way to keep them running once we got up there and investigated them after the GMP was signed.
So, did we not have an inspection when we bought the building over there? Cause I would think that this wouldn't have been missed, right? Cause
Gee, you're going back a few years. So I couldn't give you an exact answer on your inspected.
well, generally, when you're buying the property, you have an inspection, and if that's one of the things that comes up, then that would be a discussion. So was that something that was brought forward with you in the beginning, that these units might be a problem?
Yes, it was one of the options of the GMP. There were several options to the GMP, and this was one of the options that was not placed into the GMP amount when it was approved for core construction.
So who decided that?
That was one of the items that was up there for the different options. We had a GMP amount that was proposed to meet the budget, and then there were several options that were looked at, and that was one of the options that was not added to the GMP.
So,
Are you talking about the council when it came to the council?
Yes.
Yes.
but that was never brought up that this could have been an issue. I was in all those meetings, so this was kind of a surprise, and I've been waiting to ask these questions until our public hearing was over, so that's why I didn't ask these at the last meeting. Now I'm asking them now, so thank you for your answers.
I appreciate the questions.
Thank you.
Are there any more? Okay, all right. Amanda, how do you vote?
No.
Sue
Yes.
and Marla?
Yes.
Motion passes. Is Scott on?
I think the next one is Elizabeth.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. So sorry, I see Abby's on.
Yeah.
Review and consideration of Fairwater financials, annual review and renewal. Hi, Abby.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. It's nice to be on with you all, Mayor and Council. In front of you, I believe you have our retainer renewal and our invoice. We prepared a brief just slide to talk through what we've accomplished this year with the city, as well as a reminder and refresher for leadership, as well as any leadership who might be incoming in 2026 that might not be as familiar with Clearwater and our services with the city. And I'll go ahead and share my screen if that's okay. It looks like it's disabled. Chelsea, is that something you can help with?
Yeah.
Do you want to try again?
Magic. Thank you. Can you see my screen all right?
No? Yeah.
Okay,
Must be on another one.
let me see. Here we go. Try it again. Okay, how's that?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. On with me is my colleague Sheridan Sylvester, and Cameron was not able to join us this evening, but he really wanted us to pass along his gratitude at being able to partner with the city during 2025 and be part of a lot of the growth and progress that's been made this year. So as a brief overview, these are our guiding principles to help individuals in government achieve their highest potential. And, as part of that effort, we really focus on our core values of connection, accountability, respect, and ethics. In terms of connection, we consider our customer, our client in everything that we do. For accountability, we do what we say we can do. We don't oversell that. And we make sure that we're qualified to participate and lead these projects that our client might have. For respect, we really look for that foundation of seeking to understand. So coming to the table with no assumptions and really an open mind and open ears to what the need is, not what we think that it should be. And in terms of ethics, really conducting ourselves at the highest level of integrity, making sure that we're maintaining our duty to our client and acting forthright in all of our interactions with our client. And if there happens to be other consultants involved. I think Sheridan's going to cover this slide.
Thank you, Abby. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Sheridan, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So we've been around since 2016, and we are a municipal advisory firm. As part of that, we are registered with the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. And the most important thing that this means for the city is that we are the city's fiduciary. So we have to act in the best interest of our client, and we consider that in everything that we do.
Okay. So this next slide gives you an overview of the client team that works with Buhl on a regular basis in various capacities. Depending on the project that the city has going, you'll see me or Cameron or Sheridan. On a really good day, you'll get all three of us on a meeting. Sometimes Jace joins us too. But this just gives you a little bit of background and context about our experience. There's a lot of public sector experience across the board for our team, and just a lot of familiarity with Idaho and intern Buhl as well. So as you look to consider renewing the master agreement that the city has with Clearwater, we wanted to pull out those high level pieces that really stand out of what you are able to access as part of your retainer. So on this slide, you can see we pulled out these major themes of public engagement, and that could be something like a public survey, any kind of messaging, branding. It could be something as simple as a press release, any type of marketing, and all the way up to public education campaigns. For planning and development, that includes long-range planning, so master facility planning, comprehensive planning, which we're in the process of helping the city update its comprehensive plan right now. Any type of work with planning and zoning, or looking at best practices across the board for different services that the city is providing. For economic development, it could be a public-private partnership, so that P3, development services, help with RFQs and RFPs, even to site selection or team creation, grant administration services, which we've been able to assist the city with as well as part of their retainer, public budget and accounting, so we can offer support there, financial projections, policies, review, implementation, audit prep and review, generally accepted accounting practices, those types of reviews as well that we can assist with. And then when we look at banking services, so banking services in terms of an RFQ or an RFP, banking and treasury policies, and even bond investment funds. And Sheridan, I think you cover this.
Yep. So the other part of the MSA agreement is the financial services that we offer. As a municipal advisory firm, financial advisors, we can help the city with financings, such as bonds, notes, other types of borrowing. For example, we're helping the city right now with a refunding of water and sewer loans. And then in addition to that, if the city ever comes in the future is ever in need of additional financing, or maybe additional sewer and water system upgrades or other capital projects, we can work with the city to help guide them through that process, to help evaluate the different options that are available, provide recommendations on the best paths, and then recommendations on the structuring in terms of the financing. The next slide, Abby.
Yeah.
Those financial services that I was talking about, those have a separate fee, and that's in that second box of that slide. Those financing fees are typically paid with the bond proceeds, so normally isn't an out-of-pocket cost for the city. And then in addition, the retainer has an annual retainage fee. So the rest of the retainer, all of the projects that Abby talked about earlier, all of those different services, they're essentially broken out into two types of projects. So there's projects that we anticipate will be over 30 hours. Those are scoped separately and will have a separate cost. But any project under 30 hours will fall under this retainer, and we will do we will do for free under the annual retainage fee. So the fee the city pays each year as long as they have the retainer with us. And then any project under 30 hours will do at no additional cost. And there's an unlimited amount of retainer projects that the city can have us do under this retainer agreement. And Abby on the next slide will talk about some of the things that we've accomplished under the retainer this year.
Okay. So this year in 2026, we have had some separately scoped projects, such as the update to the comprehensive plan, where we were assisting the city with the police building remodel. And once our part in that was over, any support that we provide to the city is done underneath the retainer. So there's just kind of a seamless transition there. But you can see on this list, what Sheridan had mentioned is the IBBA refunding potential and application submittal. So that's in progress right now. We also helped the city identify a few grants. One of those was the GEM grant, which the city was awarded as part of its comprehensive plan update. We also helped the city identify the Rural Communities Investment Fund grant, to which they'd put out an RFP for granted administration services. And I believe they selected a firm to assist them with that to help move some of their other projects along. And then the police building remodel support, that's also in progress and looking to be hopefully completed in early 2026. And as we look out across 2026, we've talked with the city team about some potential ideas for future projects. One of those includes a potential training for new council members and new leadership to go over that in January as people start to get their feet underneath them and really want to walk through best practice and what's statutorily required, things to that effect. And we also put to be determined because part of our anticipation for early 2026 is to do a project prioritization exercise with the leadership to help you and help flesh out what those ideas might be, how we can get your community involved, and then how we prioritize those in terms of feasibility, completion, and other factors like that. So we're really looking forward to the ongoing relationship with the city under the retainer that we have. And then we did include some slides in your packet just related to the market. I don't know, Sheridan, if you want to touch on these.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I had originally scheduled that for the new council people and mayor for like it was a Monday night at 6 in February, not January. Did that
Oh, okay. No, if that might just be me misspeaking. So if it's on the calendar for February, yeah, completely fine. And I can circle back with Jason Cameron about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Great question. Thank you.
thank you, Mayor. As part of being the city's municipal advisor for the city and for all of our clients, we like to keep an eye on interest rates. And so when we present to our clients, we just like to give a quick update on the market. So rates have continued mostly trending downwards since post-COVID recovery. As you can see on this graph, this is a graph of all municipal general obligation and revenue bonds. So you can see it continues to trend downward. And then the next slide, Abby, just a quick, the Federal Reserve Board is meeting this week to decide whether or not to cut rates. So that's just something to keep an eye on. And with that, I think if there's any other questions from the mayor or council, we can help answer those.
I have a question there. Do we know what the total that we've paid out to date for 2025 as far as above and beyond the retainer fee?
That's a great question. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I'd be happy to check in on that with Jace and then circle back with you if that's all right.
Yeah, that would be fine.
And those invoices are checked by which council member each month?
I think,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's me, but I wonder the total. Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Okay.
I have it totaled in my head over the last 12 months, so.
Okay.
And then the grant that you guys are working on, the rural community grant, can you tell us a little bit about that? How much it is and what it will go for?
Yeah, we found the grant for the city, and I believe that they are working on submitting an application, and that's part of the RFP they did for grant administration services, which is allowable. I don't remember the exact amount of the grant, but I can look that up. Or I'd be happy to follow up after because I'm not sure quite how long that'll take me. But I don't believe that they've applied for it yet, but they're working on getting things together to apply.
And we don't know like what it will be for, streets or.
I believe that the intent was to extend water lines to a different part of the city to help to build a new business. But I don't recall the specifics. I'd have to
Do
look.
we have a business that's wanting to come in or?
Well, I think then this is just from memory because we weren't the firm that was selected to assist with the grant administration part of this and putting it together and compiling. But I believe that at one time it had been discussed it had to do with the car wash and extending water and sewer to a certain part of town that would in turn create jobs and growth. Sheridan, does that sound familiar?
Yeah, that sounds right.
You're right. You're right.
However, that's not in town, that's in the impact zone, so we're moving.
Why it's rural.
So we were part of the RCIF grant and what she was saying about the water line. We're trying to find a suitable source for these funds, especially since a lot of that water line extension kind of exceeds the amount of the grant. I believe the grant is around 400,000, if I'm correct. And we're still preparing documents for that, so.
So, the car wash didn't have their own source of water?
No,
Did
from
they?
from our meetings with EHM, it seems like they can branch off from the existing water line on Highway 30. That water line that we're trying to loop around is trying to come down to Highway 30 from Elm Street. And that helped a lot of other commercial businesses around the area, but we're still trying to kind of manage the RCIF grant portion of the project, or if we identify another project, we can submit for that.
Do you have an idea of how much that project is gonna cost?
Yes, water line can be a little expensive, especially with all the digging up the road and whatnot, or if we keep it to the side of the road, it came to around $2 million, which kind of exceeds a lot of that, so it might be beneficial to phase it out and maybe apply for the grant that way and have a portion of it kind of phased out and extended out that way, so there still needs to be some discussion on that end, so.
Is this something that business reached out about or something that the city is pursuing?
No, it's something the city looked at. Other businesses have also around that area, have also garnered interest in possibly having a water line, available to them. That's just something
All
from
the other
discussions.
businesses have their own source of water though, so.
We're talking about the extension down from, I think it's 1600 south. Well, it would connect to Highway 30 for the car wash and also hopefully spur some development around the area, because I believe that area is commercial. So I think what nutrient ag, is that
Yeah.
nutrient ag?
They've been coming to us first,
Mhm.
so we
So-
haven't actively sought them, they've come to us. That's why we're pursuing the grant.
Yeah, that's why we've looked at it.
Just to build though, we weren't pursuing water line when they came in.
Yeah, they were.
That's not what was presented to us in council though. It was just a water line. The only thing that was presented to us was from planning and zoning so that they could, build. And
We haven't even gone through grant yet.
yeah, I know, I just,
Thanks.
and then I had one more question, just because it was touched on here. Is there a reason that we're not using AIC for our newly elected training? They offer it, and I know that
No,
we reached
we
out.
are, but this is a different kind of training. This isn't anything to do with being a council member. We just have enough new people that I have asked, Clearwater to come in and talk to them about the rate committee, all of that stuff. This has nothing to do with council training or mayor training. It's just to update them on, so they've got a head start.
Well, they
And
just said that,
education is important.
yes, it is, and they just said that it was like the newly elected training, so.
Well, for theirs, yeah,
It will be in addition to that one.
I'm just trying to make their transition as seamless as possible into all of this, because there's a lot going on.
I just want to say thank you, to Clearwater. It's been very beneficial, especially with our comp plan. You know, the comp plans that we've seen, I mean, they cost upwards of $100,000 easily. And so it's been really nice to work with you. I know it's helped Chelsea out as she's our clerk and our treasurer. So, so thank you. I appreciate all the work.
Thank you. You're very welcome. So it's our pleasure, really. We really thoroughly enjoy our meetings and helping the city.
Okay, I don't think there's any more questions.
Right, excellent. Is there anything else we can provide before we jump up?
What I guess we could, somebody needs to make a motion.
I will make a motion that we continue with Clearwater Financial's annual that we continue with their Clearwater Financial and renew their contract.
Second. Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the annual retainer renewal for Clearwater Financial. Is there any more discussion? Marla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes,
Sue?
Yes.
Okay, that's a majority of the council, so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. It's been wonderful working with you and thank you, everyone. We wish you really happy holidays.
Thank you to you also.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Okay, next action item is review and consideration of the urban renewal termination ordinance. This is for urban renewal district number 1. Do we have Scott?
There's a phone number and an iPhone. Scott, are you on here?
Scott Bybee, is ill. I don't have a, text from him. So I will read this to Scott. I expected questions about, the information that the ordinance that he sent, regarding the sunsetting of urban renewal, area 1, which is Harvest Hills and the McCollum area. And, there are actually 2 URA areas, but only area 1 is being terminated because it has run its 24-year term. Area 2 will continue into the future, of course, and all of the area 1 remaining funds are earmarked to help the city pay for repairs to the city well, but we've got a wastewater project, that we're bringing to the board on Wednesday. And several sewer service lines that are being completed. In other words, when the final bills are paid, there will be no extra funds left over. There are funds in area 2 that are left over, because we have to keep them separate. And were rolled over to the 2025-2026 budget for use in the future. Thanks, Scott. And this was prepared, this resolution, that the, URA board approved was prepared by the URA attorneys in Boise.
What will happen to, because the harvest hills is only on phase 1 and 2, correct?
But we've already done our part that we needed to do for those schools. Yeah. We've done everything that the written rule, was required to do in the beginning.
So as far as like green spaces and things like that, that was all taken care of up till phase 9, because
Wait a minute, we only approved in 2?
Yeah.
So once they start coming to us, then that's when we can ask those questions and make sure it's in.
but if you don't have your urban renewal.
We were in charge of doing green spaces rather than.
No, I know that's never been a part of it, but that was one of the things that she's talked about, so they were.
And it should be, the council in the future should be taking care of that, yeah.
So they have to make a new, urban renewal board for this area again.
No, we stay the same. There's actually a third one coming into play too. So.
Does that become number 3 or does that become number?
That's number 3.
So are we only terminating area 1 and the board, the urban renewal board will stay in place?
Yes, we're only terminating the area because we have to. It's been 24 years, that's by law.
Yeah, that wasn't in our packet, so I'm sorry for the question.
Well, Scott is gonna be here.
Yeah, so. Is this something, that we should possibly table until Scott?
No, we have to have it done by the end of this month. And the board of the urban renewal, you're just okaying it.
Can anybody hear me there?
Oh, yes, thank you, Scott.
Hello? Hello?
We're both-
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm, yeah, I don't know why, it won't- I've got a video on my end, I can see all of you.
But you can't hear it?
Pardon me?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, yes.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay,
Do I need to call you
I don't-
on this?
yeah, I've watched the whole meeting, I apologize, I'm not sure what happened, but when the other individual left, went off. Something happened. Okay, I can hear you and see you, so,
So Scott, Amanda has some
Yes.
questions for you, so I'll ask her to speak into her microphone so you can hear her.
okay,
Thank
that'd be
you.
perfect, thank you.
Maybe it would just be easier, if you just wanted to start from the beginning and tell us a little bit about this.
Sure. Okay, the Urban Renewal Area 1 was established in December of 2000 for the purpose of promoting growth in the McCollum area and upgrading the infrastructure, the roadways, water, and sewer. Subsequent to that, several years later, Area 2 was established, which is the area down around Elm. And that was for more of a light industrial development. And I'm sorry, I'm going to lose my voice here in about a few minutes, so I'm going to go through this quickly. But the state only allows at that time a 24-year window for urban renewal areas. So it was established in 2000, so it closes December of this year. Now we can expend funds beyond December as long as the project has been allocated and funded and authorized, which all of them have. we had a little bit of leftover funding until the city well had its problem back this summer. And the Urban Renewal Board decided to assist with that replacement. So right now we've got really two open projects. One is a sewer service line that we're working on Fair Street. And secondly is city well. The city well is up and running, but we need to establish the reimbursement amount. And we've got a meeting this week to do that. So because of the state law requiring determination, we've gone through all the steps beginning in June until now to regulate through the state all those processes. And the ordinance is the last step. The Urban Renewal Board passed a resolution a couple of months ago that basically says the same thing as this ordinance does. But because urban renewal is established by the city council, it has to be terminated by the city council. And that's the purpose of this ordinance. So in terms of extra dollars, every dollar that's been funded to urban renewal will be expended by urban renewal, so there won't be any extra funds. Now, let me just address briefly Area 2, again, which is down on Elm. There were some funding left over this year that were rolled over into next year. We talked about several projects because of the timing and the lack of adequate funding. The board decided to not do any additional significant funding in Area 2, but to roll those funds over and try and do a better project next year when we had a better handle on what our needs are. But again, I don't want to confuse everybody. Area 1 and Area 2 are totally distinct and separate, and the funding is separate. So we can't expend Area 1 funds in Area 2, nor can we expend Area 2 funds in Area 1. So again, the purpose of tonight's ordinance is to officially, by notation of the council, terminate Area 1, and that allows us then to finish all of our paperwork, do the publications, send all the notices. We've got about 24 notices we have to send out to all the various agencies in the state, notifying them of the change. And then in subsequent years, the funds that we have collected for Area 1 will now go back to those agencies, as in like the highway district. They'll get full funding that we have been taking or using for the last 24 years. The same with the cemetery district. And you just go down the line, there's 24 different agencies that we'll be sending notices to. So if that doesn't answer the question, Amanda, let me get specific to a question you may have.
No, that answered a lot of it for me. I didn't know that, we were just terminating Area 1. Maybe, just one more question, and what number was that well? Was it 5 or 6?
5.
5.
5, yes, well, 5.
And maybe this isn't an appropriate time, but, do we have a plan for well 5? Is it completely fixed or?
Completely done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the city has spent the money. Urban Renewal is going to reimburse the city for a portion of that because well 5 is inside our district.
All right. And is Area 1 Area 1 is the one that goes by the cemetery as well?
No,
No.
Area
So
2
that's-
is the one that goes by the cemetery.
All right, thank you for clarifying that. I think
You
that
bet.
was everything.
And I apologize for not being there tonight, but I thank you for not having me there. I didn't want to spread these germs around. I got a good one, so thank you.
Wouldn't have you in the building. Any other questions? Okay. So ordinance.
All members of the city council having been furnished a copy of the proposed ordinance 2025-17. and being fully advised of the content and purpose of said ordinance, I hereby move that the provisions of Idaho Code Section 50-902, which require that said ordinance be read on 3 different days, 2 readings by title only, and 1 reading which shall be in full, be dispensed with, and that said ordinance be passed upon 1 reading by title only, and I request a roll call vote.
Second. There's a motion and a second to dispense with the 3 readings of this ordinance. Is there any discussion? Okay, Marla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Sue? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Again, thank you very much for letting me do this remotely. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2025-17 for the urban renewal termination of area number 1, URA number 1.
Second. Okay, there's a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 2025-17, which reads an ordinance of the city council of the city of Buhl, Idaho, terminating the urban renewal plan for the McCollum addition and adjacent areas urban renewal project and the established revenue allocation area for the McCollum addition project area. Requiring distribution of any non-obligated surplus determined to exist pursuant to section 50-2909 Idaho Code. Authorizing the city clerk or the urban renewal agency of the city of Buhl, Idaho to file the ordinance together with the boundary map with the office of the county recorder, the county assessor, and the Idaho State Tax Commission as provided in section 63-215 Idaho Code. Providing that a copy of this ordinance shall be given to each of the taxing entities affected by said revenue allocation area. Approving the summary of the ordinance and providing an effective date. Is there any discussion? Okay, Amanda, how do you vote?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you, Scott.
Thank you. I apologize for the video problem.
Oh, you're okay. I'll see you on Wednesday if you're better.
If I'm not, I'll sit outside and do it remotely.
Okay, so the next action item is review and consideration to move to public hearing for Planning and Zoning Commission recommendations of amendment to Title IX, Chapter 8, Section 1, Schedule of Land Uses, add, in quotes, equipment rental yard, in quotes, in the commercial table as a conditionally permitted use in the B3 Community Business District. Do we have? This is okay. So this is just to go to public hearing.
I'll make a motion that we move to a public hearing for the amendment to Title IX, Chapter 8, Section 1, Schedule of Land Uses, add equipment rental yard in the commercial table as a conditionally permitted use in the B3 Community Business District.
Second. Okay, there's a motion and a second to move to public hearing. Is there any discussion?
It is brought forward by the county, or is the individual bringing this forward for?
That is, I think it's an individual, if I'm not mistaken.
Or does it have to do with the bare necessities?
We're not supposed to discuss that. This is to move to public hearing.
It was in an open meeting.
So you can
Yeah.
hear it then.
Yeah, I understand that, but it was in an open meeting and it's already been posted. So to not answer the question seems.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just doing my job. Is there any other discussion? Okay, Mara, how do you vote?
Yes.
Amanda
Yes.
and Sue?
Yes.
Next action item, and Chelsea, this is you, review and consideration of November 4th, 2025 election results. We have to approve these every time we have an election.
So they,
I'm not used to seeing all of that.
Yeah.
Just Buell's city council and mayor results, but thank you.
no, I guess just for your knowledge, that's how it came to me, so I figured I would just tell that.
I'm just letting you know. Yeah.
But that was in your packet, I don't know how much detail
They saw it.
you want me to, so. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them, but.
What is overvote and undervote?
That is a question.
I don't know. It happened in Mountain Home.
Does it have something to do maybe with people marking their ballot wrong? Or like you're supposed to vote for two, you vote for three, or it's supposed to vote for two, you vote for one or three? I don't know. I was looking at those numbers and I thought, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what that means.
I don't remember seeing that last.
No,
Election.
last
Yeah.
election.
That's the first time
I
I've ever
never
seen
seen that
that.
happen in Mountain Home though, and I didn't
Huh.
understand it.
Okay.
You can look it up.
It'll be interesting to see what that is.
Okay, and so
So yeah, I'll make a motion.
validating the
We
election.
approve and validate the November 4th, 2025 election results.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to validate and approve the November 4th, 2025 election results received from Twin Falls County. Is there any discussion? Okay. Sue, how do you vote?
Yes.
Marla?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Okay. Next action item is review and consideration of surplus resolution. Now, what's the number on this?
2025-17.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2025-17 for the surplus of the library.
Second. Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2025-17, which includes a list from the library regarding surplusing. So is there any discussion? Okay, Marla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Amanda
Yes.
and Sue?
Yes.
All right. So has anybody signed up? Okay. So we need to make sure that we comply with the law with regards to employee privacy issues. If a member of city council would like to discuss any issues pertaining to complaints, discipline, etc. of a city employee, those will first need to be discussed with the mayor, who is the chief city administrator pursuant to Idaho Code Section 50-602. After review of the complaint, discipline, etc., if it needs to go before city council, it will be listed under an executive session on the upcoming meeting agenda. Are there any comments by the council?
I have a couple comments that were, things that were included in our packet. The one was the letter from the ICL, the Idaho Conservation League. And I just think with them saying that we had 0 violations, that just shows how well the people we have that are working in that and how well our infrastructure is working.
I don't
Kudos to
see
you guys.
Well, thank you. I mean, not very often they hear the thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And my second one was to the police department, Chief Baum and Foreign Campus for their work on making sure, did you leave? Making sure that they're just save some money on the building over there. And that was really nice of them to get data cable done.
But he left.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has spent hours on that cable and has saved over
Quite a bit.
something $1,000. If we were at the police department, so he and Core have saved a lot of money. And of course, you know how much I appreciate what you're doing over there. Do you have an estimated completion date? I won't hold you to it. Of January?
I believe the 17th of January.
Okay,
The open house is looking for somewhere in February.
okay. All right, yeah, if you go get around more then, because I hear we're gonna have a snow again in January. And so, things change, kind of last minute and the new flagpole went up instead of the chamber, who has a perfectly good flagpole, it went up over at the new police building, so it was a lot of fun, meeting those scouts, and Jeremy took them on a tour after, the dedication of that flag over there, so. And he plans on putting a state flag in the city of Buhl also. So. Do you do anything?
Oh, yeah, I went to Boise last Tuesday for the AIC legislative meeting. Had a lot of good information there. The mayor of Star kind of led the first part of it. There's just a lot of talk of that House Bill 389 and the impacts, the negative impacts of that, and how it hurts how cities pay for salaries. And so I think that when we are moving forward in new development in our town, I think that it would be a really good idea to kind of collaborate with other cities and see how they are also paying for growth, because you know, House Bill 39 is not allowing us to do that. And so it is really hurting the services that we can give to our citizens. And the elephant in the room during this meeting is that we have legislators campaigning on cutting taxes, and don't get me wrong, I don't like taxes either, but it hurts municipalities, it hurts the services that we can give to our citizens. And so, I mean, there's a place in the Boise area where they have a fire station and they have no one working there. So people go there in need of help and there's just no one there. I don't want to see Buhl get to that point. So I feel like we are gonna have some good discussions when developments come in and want to be here. The other thing they talked about, and I don't know if you've heard of this, Chelsea, but there's a state insurance plan that they talked about. So Rick Cheatham, he was on that bill, and I mean, I don't know anything really about it other than you can just check it out and see if that would be beneficial compared to the health benefits that we have now. And I think that, and they're just like other things, like they're working on the rural family hiring bill, because rural communities really struggle to hire people. And so if they're family members or some sort of relation, then maybe there's some wiggle room and who they can hire, so their hiring pool's a little bit larger.
In municipalities?
Yeah, for rural municipalities, like Twin
I mean,
Falls was,
within the cities.
yeah, hiring families. Yes, so Twin Falls would be out, I think it's like under 5,000 or something, and it's small rural communities, which is most of Idaho anyways, but so that was interesting. And then the license plate reader, they had that bill, and then there was a gal from city of Boise, and they're proposing a change for license plate readers for public parking. That doesn't really seem to apply here, we're a pretty small town, so but they talked about that for a little bit, and that was the gist of the morning. I had to leave early to go get my son from school, but then I'll be back for city officials day and we'll see how things are going.
Gosh, what I'm crying. Would you mind giving us an update on Birdie Avenue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, not much more than I guess you already know, it's been, contract's been awarded. We did make our selection on the inspection engineers for the project, so. They want to start, but I don't think there's any possibility, this first started, I think, February 15th. And it'll be a 120 day project.
So get ready.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. So House Bill 389. Oh, Brian left. Cortland's still here and Doug's still here. I would get online and look that up and become familiar with it. Because it really limited us on our funds. Yeah, 389. So, anything else?
I just would like to extend a thank you and a good job to Misty. She's been down there in our wastewater treatment plant every year. She's always been recognized. And there's never, in the 4 years that I've been here, there's never been any turnover in that area as well. So whatever you're doing, it's working and good job.
Thank you. And is it still all women?
Yes.
And we're very proud of that. You should be.
Like we're the only ones in Idaho. All right, then I'll entertain a motion.
Adjourn.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I will sign.
Quick question about your setup here. I thought, how long have you guys had this going?
I thought it was a little bit last week. After I get about 4 years ago.
About 4 years ago? Okay. And